All right, y'all. Before we dive in, a quick heads up.
This show is raw, real, and definitely not rated PG.
We're talking about adult themes, sexual content, and the kind of stuff you probably don't want blasting through your speakers at work or around your kids.
So grab some headphones, pour your drink of choice, and get comfy.
Oh, and just so we're clear, we are not licensed therapists, counselors, or sex couches. Sex coaches,
Sex coaches.
not sex couches.
We're just a couple of people sharing our lives experiences and sexy adventures and ethical non-monogamy. So with that, pull up a chair and enjoy the show.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Beyond Monogamy. I'm Adam.
And I'm Pris.
And today we've got some savage energy joining us today. We've got Amber and Jeff, better known as the Savage Swingers. If you've been anywhere near TikTok or lifestyle socials, you've probably run across them. They're hilarious, they're bold, and they don't pull any punches when it comes to talking about the lifestyle.
Yeah, so I love their vibe because they're just real. They show the fun, the messy, the sexy, and they do it in a way that makes you feel like you're right there with them.
Yeah.
We're so excited to have Amber and Jeff on the show with us today. So let's get into their story.
Absolutely. This is going to be a fun ride, so let's jump in. Welcome to Beyond Monogamy, Amber and Jeff.
Welcome, guys.
Hello. Hey, thanks for having us. Really appreciate the opportunity to be on here.
Thank you, guys.
We're glad that you guys could join us. You know, we both follow you guys. We've seen a lot of your content and we love what you put out there. We really enjoy what we see. And we think that you guys are doing a great job for the community out there, especially for new people who don't really know where to go with what they want to. You know, it's somebody's got to know how to jump out there and somebody's got to give that information.
That's for sure.
So we're just going to jump right in, Amber and Jeff. How did Savage Swingers even start? Like, what made you decide, yeah, let's put our lifestyle out there for the whole world to see?
Okay, well, I'll take this one because this was definitely way more me.
It always is.
Yeah,
right?
of course. For me, I was already kind of in a place in my life where I had previously been a very big people pleaser for a big part of my life. And I was just at a point in life where I was over that. I realized that did not serve me, did not serve anyone. And I was just wanting to be more authentic in general with people. So I actually have a personal TikTok where I had started making TikToks prior about other things and just being open with people, which was honestly very difficult for me. You may not be able to tell it seeing me online, but I am extremely introverted. When we go to events, he's the talker, not me.
Wow.
But I just forced myself to start being more authentic and being more real. And as we got into the lifestyle more, I came across various creators on here in the E&M category. And I really appreciated and loved what they do, putting it out there, letting people know it doesn't have to be so taboo. There are lots of other people out there in this lifestyle. And for me, that was a big source of comfort. And it was actually after we had went to our first big event, it just kind of hit me, it was encouraging and positive for me to see other people doing this. I want to do this too. And if it helps and encourages even one other person, then it's worth it and it's accomplished something. So I started making TikToks, and that was back, 2023, I think. Yeah, or was it 2024? No, yeah, it was about spring 2024 when I started. And I'm like, I'm just going to get on there and do it. I was nervous, anxious about it, but I just forced myself to do it. And it's like, if it reaches and helps even one person, then hey, it's worth it. So, and he just got
that nervousness. Yeah, that nervousness is definitely something, especially the backlash. Were you scared of that? Were you scared of like the backlash or were you just like, let's see what happens, whatever?
Yeah, I was kind of like, let's see what happens. I knew the backlash might get to me at some point, but going back to being authentic, I'm at a place that I'm not here to please anybody else. We want to live our lives and do what makes us happy. And if someone else doesn't like it, whether they're friends, family, random people on the internet, that's their issue to deal with. So I
Oh,
wasn't
yeah.
too worried. Not to say the backlash never gets to me, but it's not a huge concern.
That's good. That's good. I love that.
Yeah, that is really good. You know, as a couple, what was your first real lifestyle experience like? Like, was it smooth? Was it awkward? Was it a total wild ride? Like, what's the savage
You
origin
want to
story?
start
I'm
there?
curious.
Yes.
I'll start it and I'll let her give the details. But it was, and so it's evolved since then. But it was completely random. To a certain extent, it was kind of random. We went to a music festival in Virginia, and she had joined. We had both joined one of the like Facebook groups, some of the Kinkster groups, and everything like that. And hadn't really had much luck leading up to it. So we was just kind of like, all right, look, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. No big deal. We're here to enjoy the music festival. So the first day we show up, get our camp situated and everything, and a younger lady, tried to think of the proper term here. I don't want to call her a chick or anything. A younger lady messaged us kind of back and forth a little bit, said, "Hey, I'm interested. I saw your profile in the group page." And it kind of went from there. She started talking to Amber, and that's where I'm going to hand this off to her.
Yeah, like he said, we were it was a Kingsters group, 4 people that were going to this festival just to kind of meet other people and stuff. And we hadn't had any luck prior in going, but once we got there, this female had started sending me messages. Hey, you guys look cool. Want to hang out? Blah, blah, blah. So we're like, okay. We just went back and forth a little while. And at some point we did meet up and hang out. She wanted to come hang out with us. And we were camping there too, which makes us all the more crazy. We were tent camping too, not RV, nothing fancy, no AC, no showers.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Oh, you're roughing it.
We
Wow.
were roughing it. And she came over to hang out with us one night at camp, and we all were just chatting and having some drinks, and things progressed from there.
Yeah, it's usually how it happens sometimes. I mean,
Yeah.
You know,
Things always
it
progress from
always
there.
progresses.
they did progress from there. We didn't think any was going to happen. It wasn't really planned out. It was just kind of a spur of the moment, random. It all worked out. Everybody clicked and got along, and we had some tent fun.
That's good. Oh, yeah. We had a takeover, and it was a lot of tent fun, and I was like, oh my God, never again. We were on the beach, and I was like, nope, well, that's not happening again.
Too much
Yeah.
sand
That was
in the wrong
messy.
places.
Yes, yes. Now, how do y'all two balance the lifestyle? Because y'all are content creators. So how do you balance that with home and, living your everyday lives? Like, is it hard? Because like I said, y'all are content creators. So y'all are always on TikTok and stuff, right?
And I guess this is more my question
that's
because
you.
I'm the one that handles it. When
Jeff's
I
like,
eat it.
I'm fine
Yeah.
with it.
No,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Balance can be hard. I'm one of those people that has, I can't remember, it's a type A personality. I have a lot of projects all the time. So balance is something
Yes.
I do struggle with because I tend to sometimes take in too many projects. So a lot of this journey has been, okay, what do we want to do now? But then it's like, okay, this is taking more time than I thought. Let's balance. So it's definitely challenging at some times, but a lot of that, again, it's
Yeah.
probably my fault because I take on too much. But I try to keep it to kind of a schedule. Like I have, certain times that I'm going to sit down and catch up on comments and do responses, which I'm really behind on right now. It's just playing around with it, seeing what works, what's most efficient. It's like there's some things I've tried and didn't seem to be having much luck with. So it's like, okay, those things have to go. But I think currently we've got a pretty good system going on, although we're going to add more projects to it soon. So
Yes, I've heard.
Time
So.
management, man. It comes
Yeah.
down to time management. That's
Yes, yeah.
exhausting at
it
times.
is.
You know? You guys have built up a pretty large following relatively fast, which it sounds like. What's been the wildest or funniest reaction someone's had to your content that just kind of stuck out, something that you remember?
One, and I'm gonna say this was my favorite thing. This was kind of one of those moments where I'm like, okay, I'm glad I'm doing this. I feel like it's worth it. We went on a trip this April. Yes, this past April to Secrets down in Kissimmee, Florida, and that was a lot of fun. And at most of the events we're at now, people will recognize us and say hi. But there was a couple that came up, introduced themselves. When I got into a pretty deep conversation with the guy, he was just talking about how much love your content, appreciate everything you do. It's really encouraging. We've learned a lot. And he started asking questions, and we just got into a big, deep conversation about it. And that was just a really good moment. That's a moment that made it feel like, okay, there is a point to this. It is worth it. It's not all just wasted time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And do you ever feel like the pressure of keeping up that image, or are you always like savage swingers? Like, is it always that?
Yeah. I personally do feel the pressure of keeping that up. And one thing,
I'm waiting to hear the answer to this because I know part of it.
yeah.
I mean, I know my answer, so I'm
Yeah.
just curious on your end, you know?
He does. I have, before we go to places where people are gonna could recognize us offline, I have to remind myself, okay, there's one thing about me, I have a terrible RBF, resting B face. Terrible. And people will see it.
By the
think
way,
I'm-
it's a podcast, so you can curse all you
Yeah,
want.
you can curse
Okay,
all you
okay.
want.
Yeah, cool.
Totally fine.
but terrible resting bitch face. So like even the person who's my best friend right now, we met at work. When she said when she first walked in and saw me, because I was one of the trainers, she didn't want to be teamed up with me because she thought I looked mean. It's just my face. So I have to, when we're at events and stuff now, I'll consciously, I'm thinking about it all the time. I'm like, smile, look nice. Even though I am always nice, sometimes I don't look it. So I do consciously have to make that effort to, okay, remember, people will recognize you. You got to keep, you got to look friendly. You got to be aware. So that is definitely
Oh, man.
something
I know
I've
that
had to
you
work
can
on.
relate to that.
So I can definitely relate to that
Yeah.
because I'm always thinking. I have ADHD, so
Mhm.
my brain is always, always, always going. And even when I'm in front of like my husband or something, I'm always like, wait, what was I thinking about? And I always have that serious face.
Yeah.
I was just at the grocery store here in town, and a guy stopped me and he's like, hi. And I was just like, oh, hi. I thought maybe I was in his way. And he was like, I follow you, all your socials and this and that. And I was like, oh, thank goodness I smiled. Thank
Right.
goodness I said hi to him. And he messaged me and he was like, you were so nice. Like I saw you on TikTok, but I didn't think I don't know. I thought
I
you were
didn't
going
think
to
you were
be.
actually nice.
I know. I was like,
That it was
yeah.
all image.
Adam's always tapping me. He's
Yeah.
always tapping me and he was like, okay, remember, be nice, smile. And I'm like, everybody knows me now. So it's like,
It's easier when they know.
when they know you. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just a lot easier.
Yeah, I get that.
I'm always smiling, so people feel that I'm more approachable than she is, I guess because I smile often and I don't have RBF.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's like we've had people come up to us and tell us, "Hey, you just seem more approachable." And I'm like, "Oh, thank you."
Oh, we get that all the time. They're like, you don't seem approachable. And I'm
Not approachable.
I'm not transactional. I'm very open. So I speak my mind.
Very direct.
I'm very direct. And a lot of people, they don't care for that. And it's like, oh, I mean, some men are okay with it, but women just don't. They find that very intimidating and stuff. And I'm like, nah, dude, I'm just as cool as you guys. Like, I'm
Right.
just thinking about 1,000 things. So
Oh
I
my
get that.
gosh.
I think it's funny because when we first met, I play beer league hockey all around Nashville and everything. So when we would go to Nashville, I would get recognized, and she would kind of she was there. I would introduce her, but she would kind of in the background, right?
Mhm.
Well, now that we've
Yeah.
done this, it's reversed. So so when we go to events, and like when she was talking about secrets, where like literally the whole first day it was, oh hey, this is so and so, this is so and so, like I'm like a step behind her, and I just have this big, pardon the language, shit-eating grin on my face because now it's like, okay, you get to experience what I've had to experience for like when I'm in Nashville. This is your fun. Go with it.
that's awesome. I mean,
So I really
great.
enjoy it. I think it's fun, and there's been times where she's asked questions about it, and I'm like, just relax, calm down, you're fine, because she knows
Yeah.
I've had to experience it, and like she said, I'm kind of the same way. If I'm in a certain area and you recognize me, Like if I'm at a hockey rink, I'm acting 180 degrees different than I'm talking to you all right now. That's just one way.
Yeah.
It's the same with her. When we're in private, she can turn on her resting bitch face and,
Don't care.
I don't care. But when we're in public, sometimes she's like, am I okay? Is everything, you're good. You're good. So it kind of helps that we've both experienced it now.
Yeah, the whole
Yeah.
being in the spotlight thing was something I very not used to. I was very shy as a child. I was never I was one of those that didn't even want to raise their hand in class and get the attention. So
Yeah.
it's very different for me.
Have a lot in common with you there.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
I find it weird. And so he was not very popular in school. I was popular. So we laugh about that because he's like, I was never popular. And I was like, oh, this is nothing.
And now the roles have switched.
They've
So
switched.
I'm very introverted.
Yeah.
And I never wanted to socialize with people. And really, the only reason why we kind of got pushed to the forefront was because I wanted to work on my anxiety, my social anxiety. And I was like, if I start getting out there and I start talking to people more, like practice makes perfect. I'll get used to it. It'll get easier to handle. And so that's really why I started putting myself out there more. And now we started the podcast and things kind of went from there. And people are like, oh, well, you're a celebrity now. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, like, what?
No,
Right?
I'm
no.
all,
Stop that.
Weird.
it's
No.
weird, but it is fun.
Yeah.
Like they make
Shit.
it fun.
I had
so.
to start seeing a therapist,
Yeah.
man. I had some shit to work out. I was like, this is weird. This thing, like people are peppering me with compliments and I don't know how I feel about this. And I had to start seeing a therapist. I was like, this
He
is
did,
just
yeah.
not, this is not cool for me. So yeah, it's definitely, I can relate to that.
Yeah.
It's been a ride for sure.
How long have you had the podcast?
So this is our 10th month. We dropped our first episode at literally Thanksgiving Day of last year.
Oh, okay.
But we had already been known in our community here in
community, yeah.
Texas, at least from Corpus Christi, San Antonio, and Austin. We were already kind of, people had already kind of known us because we were involved in a lot of the groups and people would ask us for advice, things like that. I had a friend of mine who said, hey, I'm going to start a podcast. And I'm a hype man. I'm a really good hype man. So people come up to me and they're like, I have this idea. And I'm like, hell yes, do that. And so this guy came up to me and he's like, I want to start a podcast for the lifestyle. And I said, hells yes, you got to do that. I said, we need people to help educate those who don't know. Like and plus we want to remove the stigma. And so he started setting it up and his first guest flaked. And so he called me and he's like, hey, will you be our first guest? And I said, yeah, sure. And so I went and I did the show and it went really well. And he was like, you got to be my co-host now. I'm not good at telling people no. So I was like, okay, fine. And then I had to come to her and tell her that I was now a co-host on a podcast.
I was so upset because I am a podcast listener and during the pandemic, we bought all this equipment because I was like, we're going to have a family podcast or we're going to do a podcast. People would love to hear us talk.
And I was like, no, dude, nobody wants to hear us talk.
And then like
That's
4
ridiculous.
years later, our friend says this and he's like, I'm going to be a co-host. And I was like, no, you're not. You're going to be with me. Like, we're going to do this together.
So to appease this wonderful woman, I said, okay, fine. I took out everything from the closet that we bought initially 4 years prior. And I said, look, if we're going to do this, then we just need to hit record and we just need to I'm not even going to edit it. I'm just going to push it out there until we start getting better. And sure enough, that's what we did. We dropped our first episode Thanksgiving. There was, really, it jumped up in popularity relatively quick. And probably, I don't know, about a month or two ago, or during the summertime, it really peaked up. And we had to kind of take it to the next level. And we were like, okay, we're going to incorporate video now. And we're going to start bringing on guests. So yeah, it was a thing, but we're in our 10th month. And from what I'm told, the numbers that we have of downloads and the numbers of followers and we're now global is not the norm for starting out. This is like, I guess where we're at numbers wise is normally where people are at almost 2 years down the line.
Wow.
So I was like, if this is a performance based thing, then I'm going to perform the fuck out of this.
Yeah.
and
So,
we're
I mean,
gonna We're
it's
gonna
very
see what
time
goes.
consuming, but he's got time.
Now that I've been
So
laid off.
he was
Yeah.
laid off.
Oh.
So he's like, yeah. So it's like, okay, we'll put it in. And,
Yeah,
it
so
is.
I was laid off a couple weeks ago,
Mhm.
but the week prior to that, I decided I'm going to turn up the heat on this, and I really started working on it. But I used to edit at work, like I used to try and
Yeah.
fit it in everywhere.
Mhm.
I got a really good severance package when they laid me off, so
There you
I'm
go.
pretty much paid for the rest of the year. So I was like, she's like, "Okay, this is your chance. Work on this." And I said,
Work
"Okay."
on this because I don't want to work anymore.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the goal.
That's
That's
the
the
goal
goal.
right
So
there.
we'll see. Yeah. So yeah, and that's why I said, when you guys start your podcast, let me know. I can be a resource for you guys because
Yes.
I've had to figure this out on my own,
Yeah.
and it sucks figuring it out on your own,
Yeah.
especially for the niche that we're in. You can talk to people with podcasts all day long, but the niche that we're in,
Yeah.
those rules don't apply.
Mhm.
It's just a completely different animal.
Mhm.
So yeah, if you guys ever have any questions, just let me know.
Cool. Appreciate that.
Ooh, we went into a
I
whole different
know,
tangent.
we're
Okay, I'm gonna get back on. I'm gonna back on. I'm sorry.
We're
I'm
good.
sorry. Okay, back to the lifestyle. So, what's the biggest lifestyle misconception that you guys wish you could just kill once and for all? Like, just get that out of
That
there,
it's a free for all. I mean, that
right?
right off the top of the head, everybody like, okay, so like with the couple of coworkers that I have, I work in a very kind of tight warehouse and everything. Like
Mm.
we joke around with each other. It's a bunch of guys that's kind of locker roomish, and he'll get what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of open about it. So we joke around about it and everything. Like my coworker who I've worked with for 4.5 years now, me and him have a lot of fun with it. Like we'll joke around seriously about it. He'll sit there and watch her lives with me and everything. But when I first started, kind of talking about it and everything, he was like, "Oh, so you can go there and do this with that person and then bounce out." I was like, "No, dude,
That's
it's
not how it
like."
works.
I was like, it is like 180 degrees from what you even remotely think it's like. And I was like,
Yeah.
I'd be willing to bet that, I was like, if you go to any house party, I was like, less than probably 2 or 3% of the people are playing with each other. Everybody else is getting together, having a couple of drinks, catching up with
Yep.
each other, talking about family, talking about work. I was like, it's no different than going to a high school party. I was like, everybody crashes, everybody has a good time. Yeah, a couple people sneak away, and all of a sudden you're looking around like, hey, where'd so and so go? And you go and find them, and okay, and then you go back to what you're
There
doing.
they are.
I was like, it's very. I was like, what you see in movies and adult entertainment is not what happens in real life.
Yeah.
And I was
For
like,
sure.
That's
That's
very-
it.
right off the top of my
That's the
head, that
number.
would be the biggest one.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Main
That is
reason-
definitely the top one that comes up.
Yeah. One of the main reasons I don't check most of my DMs, private messages on different social media, unless it's someone I've talked with and previously about a business thing, is because it's a lot of times it's people that just, oh, y'all are in the lifestyle, so you go hook up with everybody. And that's what a lot of the messages are. Oh, so when can I come meet you and all this? It's like, that's not how that works.
Not how it works.
And
Yeah.
I think especially for women, right? That's really hard for us because that's all we get.
Oh yeah.
That's all we get. Even if we're not in the lifestyle, like
Yeah.
that's all you get. If you're an attractive woman, you're just gonna get, or the personality. You just always have that resting bitch face.
Yeah.
And
Just
nobody's
have
gonna
a
wanna
bunch of
come talk to
wieners
you.
thrown at you. Yeah. I get it.
So, we're in this lifestyle. I know that jealousy, insecurities, and dramas, they all come up for everybody. How do you guys handle that as a couple?
Am I taking this or you?
Yeah, because you're
I love the laugh
you're
before the
really-
answer. That's my
I'll get
favorite
the
part.
joking around. Let's have some fun with this question and answer.
There you go.
And, number one, it comes back to probably my number one answer to most of the questions people ask me about the lifestyle. It's communication, and that's always been a strong point for us. And I think it's part of it's just the point in life where we were both at when we met. What's it been, 8.5 years since we started dating? We got married almost
It'll be 3
3
weeks.
years. Yeah, it'll be 3 years next month. And we were both at a point where we were going through divorces and just tired of the bad crap. We just wanted to both be 100% real and open with somebody. Neither one of us was looking for a relationship. So we started out with very open, honest communication. This is me. This is what you get. Take it or leave it. And we pretty much still do that. We do a lot of talking. If there's something bothering us, whether it's a jealousy issue, something we don't agree on, something someone else did that upset one of us, it's a lot of talking. And one thing we do, sometimes that talking turns into heated discussions too, not gonna lie, because we don't always agree.
We just got passionate with each
Yeah.
other.
There you
That's,
go.
that's what
That's
we
our thing.
We usually take a walk after dinner every night. So if there's something we want to discuss and we don't have to worry about anyone in the home overhearing it, sometimes we'll do it while we're on our walk. So we'll sometimes be walking through the neighborhood debating over issues about lifestyle or jealousy or something like that. But it just comes back to a whole lot of communication. And I've never been in a relationship where I've had nearly this much communication. But we pretty much usually don't filter things. We'll talk it out. Sometimes that might lead to raised voices and people get mad, but we work it out.
I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
Yeah, you get used to that, and
Yeah.
it just becomes a way of life. Like there's no other way to handle it.
Yeah.
I think. Now, for couples who are just starting out and maybe looking to you two as inspiration, what advice would you give them?
You want to say it.
Don't
I mean, I'll say it if you don't.
go for it.
First and foremost, always communication. It all comes back to that. But also, if for people that are starting, and part of the reason we make the content we do is education is important. People that get in the lifestyle without doing research, I feel like that can cause just some problems. And knowing proper manners within the lifestyle. We actually had an
Yes.
incident this past weekend when we were at Pandora's resort and campground here in Tennessee. And we were in a playroom. There were several other people in the playroom. There was stuff going on. And this big crowd just bust in the playroom. Loud, obnoxious, moving our things without asking us.
Oh,
Yeah, and the best part was one of the guys, because they were all there together, stopped me. It was like, "Hey, I recognize you. I watch your content." And I'm just like, then have some manners is what I wanted to say. It kind of killed the whole vibe in the playroom. So communication and education, I think, are the number one things. Have general manners and respect for people. Because I think with newbies, that sometimes tends to be an issue, as they don't do all their research they should and really know what they're going into. And also, I think it's important for people to get information from various sources. I never want anybody to watch only my content. Everyone's got a different perspective, has different experiences. Like I probably have at least 10 different E&M podcasts I listen to hear different experiences. So I think that's important to get information from various sources.
Yeah, that's really
yeah.
good.
No, for sure.
Yeah. So, what's something that you've learned about yourself individually or as a couple since creating Savage Swingers?
Okay, I'm gonna have to think on this one.
You gotta think about that one. Okay.
Yeah.
More, it's just been able to, like, even okay. So even though we communicate and everything, and maybe we're different, maybe we're not. Even some of the tougher discussions aren't easy to do in person. So sometimes it'll be, we'll shoot a text, "Hey, blah blah blah. This is how I feel. Giving you a heads up. We need to talk about this." And
Right.
Yeah.
and being able to have those difficult discussions, knowing that it might get a little passionate or heated, and understand that, hey, in the end, you're still who I want to be with, still who I want to come home, tell everything to, sit down, have dinner, and have a good time with. But I think it's being able to have those difficult discussions and not worry about, like in previous relationships where I would avoid those discussions, like, no, not worth the argument. I'll tuck that away. That ain't going to worry anything. And yeah, that doesn't work.
And
Right.
let it like fester.
go.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's funny. I still struggle with that myself every now and then.
Yeah.
Because what I found, I kind of had to go to the root of it. It's like, why don't I want to have this conversation with her? What is it that's preventing me? And then I realized, well, it's her reaction. So if we can figure out how I can say it and have her not react, and then we can easily talk about it, then things get
Right.
easier,
And
right?
and for me too, like how do I approach it with him when I'm feeling a certain way? Like it's gotten better, but that is something that we've learned ourselves, how to communicate, right? Especially that we're all on like TikTok and stuff like that. You kind of have to be real and just be like, okay, this is it.
Yeah, and the number one thing that they talk about is like communication. We as creators in this niche, in this field, we tell people all the time, you got to communicate. You got to communicate with your spouse or partner, you got to communicate with the people you play with. But it's not just communicating, it's how you
Right.
communicate.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know? And I think that people forget about that.
I think I think people, I think people hear the word communicate and they're just like, okay, I just got to talk. No, it's a
Yeah.
two-way street. Here's what I mean.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
communicate to listen and understand is different than communicating to reply. So like if we're having a discussion and I say something and she spits out an answer like that, I know she already had that reply set, ready, cocked, and waiting on it, right?
And didn't listen.
And didn't
Yes.
didn't hear the context or the depth of what I'm talking about. And then that's
Yeah.
where emotions come in and people get defensive or upset and everything. So when she does more of like the blonde moment. Sorry.
What's the word?
She does more of the social media stuff, but like I've had people, like when we went to Secrets and a couple of other events, I've had people come up to me and be like, hey, this is what's going on. They'll talk to me about it. And I'm like, okay, have you talked about it to her or them or whoever? And they'll be like, yeah. And I was like, okay, now did you talk about it effectively? Just because I talked to you about it doesn't mean that it worked. It just means I talked to you. Right.
Yeah.
But if
I like that.
if they can't go, okay, I see where you're coming from. I understand why you're upset. And this is my reaction or my rebuttal to how you feel. Okay, there's a process. But if I come to her and I say, hey, so and so made me feel this way. Well, you just don't understand them. Okay, I know you had that already locked and ready to go.
Yeah.
And if I can tell that your answers are coming out like that, there's a good chance I'm probably going to table that conversation real quick because it's
Right.
not going anywhere. It's going to be more the opposite of constructive.
Yeah, and more one-sided.
Counterproductive.
Yeah,
counterproductive.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
There you go, Mr. Brainiac here.
Counterproductive. Because I've used that one in our conversations quite a bit.
I'm sure you have.
Counterproductive.
But yeah, that's what I mean.
Now,
I've had to learn that through trial and error over 40 some odd years. So, but yeah,
yeah, and I think we all kind of figure it out as we go along, little bits here and
Yeah.
there.
I think when you're in the lifestyle, you have no choice but to figure it out fast.
Well, and you wanna pick up. You learn from all your mistakes
Yeah.
here
Yeah.
and there as they come up. Like, okay, I'm not doing that again.
right.
Mhm.
We're gonna
Yes.
get better at it. So I get that.
Definitely.
Now, you guys in this particular field, y'all are content creators, and you've gotten well known in this particular area. I know particularly whenever you're a content creator in something like the lifestyle, people look to you as almost an expert on these matters. They look at you as an educator and a leader in this field. How has that affected you guys as a couple and not only as a couple but as a couple in the lifestyle?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, one thing I've done, because she's more of the research person, I'm more of give me the cliff notes and then I'll do my own. I've kind of learned I can't do that because I realize, I don't want to affect her social media presence and
Yeah.
everything. So yeah, I've had to kind of do my own research and everything and find out some of the stuff so that way I can communicate effectively to people and not, just give off the generic answer. I can give a little depth to it. So I've had to do my own education and research into it.
Yeah.
Oh, I love
I think
that.
it helps just make us more aware of things too. Just because I kind of think, especially in public events, I'm like, okay, you always, of course, want to make the right decision, But I'm also aware of the fact, okay, other people are seeing this decision. But I also try to tell people, because and I get it. I know what people will look to content creators a lot as like educators or leaders. That's not our goal. Our goal is just to share our experiences as people. But I know a lot of people do that. But, that's my goal isn't to lead anyone. It's just to share our experiences, because I think that helps other people. That's helped me personally, listening to podcasts, listening to other people's experiences, and all of it, not just the good stuff. Just, when people share that things aren't always good. Sometimes things are bad. Sometimes we may get in an
Right.
argument over something that happens. That happened not too long ago, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's
No,
good,
yeah.
bad, and ugly. I just want to be open about all of it and let people know it's not all a big party, but it's not all sunshine and rainbows either. So,
Yeah.
We're just regular people that just have
Yep.
we just have a different lifestyle.
Yeah, and we start every show with a content warning, basically letting them know, look, we're not sex counselors, we're not
Right.
relationship advisors. We're just here to tell our stories, and if you can learn something from it to avoid whatever it is that we had to deal with,
Yeah.
then by all means, you know what I mean? But we're not trying to advise anybody, that's for
Yeah.
sure. Like you take it as you have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
We don't always agree.
No.
We're okay with disagreeing.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
going to happen.
It's gonna happen.
It
Yeah,
is.
there's just
And
no
that's in
way.
every relationship, but
Yeah.
it is because content creators and we're there in the screen, people really do see that and they're like, or you get are they really happy? Are you really?
Oh man, all the time, all the
It's like,
time.
no, not all the time.
Yeah.
We all have our moments.
Now I am curious about something, when it comes to content creators that are, they're out in the open, people in the lifestyle see you, they recognize you when you go to events and clubs and things like that. Do you notice people trying to bed you more so because you're savage swingers?
Mm,
I think we.
I think I've really run into that. I've run into maybe one person that was very fanboyish. I'll talk about. He's in our local group now. He works there. I'm not gonna say his name.
Yeah.
When I first met him we were at an event, and a friend of mine was showing me around, and one of the guys recognized me, and he was very, very fanboyish. And we're in a group together now, an online group, and he's very flirty. So I think that may have originally been his intention. I think he realizes by now that that's not the way it's going. But other than that, I don't think we really had too much problem with that yet.
Not. I haven't noticed it yet.
Yeah.
You will,
Well, I'm
Jeff. Watch.
Give it time, Jeff.
I'm sure I will.
Give it time, buddy. If you were here, I'd be hugging all over you.
Right.
Because we both showed up in hockey
Right.
jerseys, and I just dig. I feel like
Well,
we're
and
bonded.
he asked me
because of
earlier, he's like, is it okay if I wear a hockey jersey? Because that's what I'm comfortable with. I'm
Right.
like,
it.
I don't
Yes,
think we have to dress up.
absolutely,
It's fine.
Jeff.
Whatever you
And it's
wear.
perfect
Jeff,
because you're wearing a
we're gonna hang out, and we're gonna hang out in our hockey jerseys. We're gonna be bros.
And
bros
not
for life.
talk about hockey because he has nothing to know.
Hey,
He doesn't know knowledge of
No,
hockey.
but I'll
Hey,
listen.
I tell you
I'll
what,
listen.
we'll compromise. Since you're wearing the Blackhawks and I'm an Avalanche fan, we'll meet in Dallas. We'll go check out a Stars game, and we'll just talk amongst our
Hey.
friends and watch a bad hockey
Well,
game.
then you might end up with my cousin's podcast.
Watch
I
bad
actually have a
hockey.
cousin who, it's two of them that do it together. They have a podcast for the Dallas Stars. Like they go to the games.
Oh
And
wow!
they get like
Media
sometimes the
credentials.
passes. Yeah, they've been in locker rooms to interview players.
Oh,
and
how
stuff, so-
cool!
Oh my goodness, that is so
yeah,
cool.
it's really cool.
We're in the wrong niche.
we have no sport. All right, so if y'all could leave our listeners with one savage truth about the lifestyle, what would it be?
That it's a lot of people in a community that are just being real and getting to know one another, and we're okay with living outside the box a little.
Oh, I love that. That's a good answer.
And I know that we've mentioned it here, but I just want to give you a chance to plug it yourself. where can people find you, follow you, connect with you if they want more savage swingers in their lives?
Okay. Obviously, we are on TikTok. Savage Swingers 1.0 is our main account. That's the one we put the most content on, or most active on. We also do have a Savage Swingers 2.0 and 3.0 that's on TikTok. Those just are kind of backups. You can actually find us on YouTube as Savage Swingers, not on there as much. We have a Patreon group, which is the Savage Swingers. Our Patreon group is more, there's a lot of educational type content on there, post daily, just to kind of try to get people thinking and talking. And then we have a website, savageswingers.com. We've got E&M resources, events coming up, and other links on there as well.
Awesome.
And, you know, all of those links we're actually going to have posted in our show notes so that any of our listeners can find you from there. So
Yeah.
we're definitely going to have that in
Appreciate
there.
that.
Yeah, absolutely. Amber and Jeff, thank you very much for hanging out with us. We really appreciate you guys joining us. That was raw fun. It was honestly one of those conversations where you could just sit back and laugh while also learning a couple of things, which is cool.
Yeah. I
You
like
know, I think that's the fun about having those conversations
Yes. Yeah.
with content creators,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. So thank you very much, both of y'all. I love how unapologetically y'all are. So I really do inspire. I love that. I love all your content. I've been following you forever, I guess, whenever you started. And I was telling my husband about it. I was like, oh my God, I've been following her. We're going to have her on. I'm so excited.
So we appreciate you guys. And for everybody listening, don't forget, subscribe, drop a review, share this episode with your friends. That stuff really helps us keep bringing this conversation to the forefront for everybody.
For
You know, I
sure,
think
for
it's important to have.
And you can find us anywhere on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, and of course, join our community and keep this conversation going.
That was www.beyond-monogamy.com. Don't forget the dash, because that's going to take you someplace else. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. So with that, we will see you guys next week.
Bye.